السلام عليكم شباب. إن شاء الله اليوم راح نناقش موضوع اللي هو حال مادة اللغة الإنجليزية في العراق، أو حال الطلاب وتعاملهم مع مادة اللغة الإنجليزية بالعراق على المراحل الدراسية، تقريبا أغلبها من الابتدائية إلى الإعدادية. لكن راح إن شاء الله أشرح الموضوع، أحب أشرحها باللغة الإنجليزية لأن أشوف أنه أقدر أوصل أفكاري بشكل أوضح باستخدام اللغة الإنجليزية. So, we have many types of students in terms of dealing with English language in Iraq. First, some students hate English subject. They find it very difficult to pass this subject or to even get good or average grades in it. Second, some students think that it is not beneficial for them to learn English language and they don't see any benefits from learning it. For the first type, I do not think that someone would willingly hate the English language subject without any reason. So the students may not notice, but probably there's a lot of reasons why they hate this subject. For example, in their childhood they did not learn anything regarding English language. Then they came in to school and found that there's another language that I have to learn, and it's a subject that I have to pass in order to get into the next stage in my academic career. But then they find that it's actually difficult for their level because first they do not have a base ground or basics in this language. They do not even know anything about it, and they're not willing to learn just yet, either because they feel lazy or because they just see it as something very difficult, something that I should not, concern myself with. That's how many students face many hardships with English subject throughout their first years in elementary school until the last year of high school. And they find that it's difficult, it has many unexplainable things, and you cannot just understand it, unlike other subjects like mathematics or physics and stuff like that. But if they actually take the time to learn the language, or to learn the basics of the language, the words, the letters, how to form correct sentences according to the grammar of English, they're gonna find that it's very fun. It's really fun to learn this language. And they are gonna find that it's not very difficult. It's actually far more easier than many subjects like mathematics or biology and many more. But they don't have this willingness to give a second chance to the subject, and that's why they face many hardships with it. And I have seen this through my academic years. In elementary school, nobody used to love English. Most of them were treated like it's something foreign, something alien to them. They're not gonna open themselves to the language. They're not gonna even try to learn it. That's why they barely either pass it, or they have to do more attempts in order to pass the year, or they even fail. I had a friend that failed 3 years in middle school because they couldn't just pass the English subject, and they see it as this nightmare of a subject to them. Yeah. And this situation kept on going with me. I kept seeing it with students even in middle school, and especially in high school. So when I graduated and got into Department of English for Education, I was surprised that I can see the very same issue with my college classmates, which is, it surprised me a little, because I thought that no, since now we are in the Department of English, so our main major is actually learning English language and teaching it, so we're not gonna face this problem. But I found that I'm facing it more in college than at school. Why? Because in Iraq, after students graduate from high school, not all of them get into specific departments because they love it, or because this is their passion. And I do not blame them. We all know the situation in Iraq regarding to different majors and different departments. So usually the students get into a certain department because This is the department that is allowed according to their overall mark that they got from doing the final exams in high school. So yeah. So I found many students, many of my classmates not actually passionate about English language, not passionate about learning it, not passionate about teaching it to others, and they rarely have the willingness to try to learn it, to try to open a new page in order to learn it. And this have gotten them into many problems in passing these subjects, of the Department of English, whether English grammar or the literature subjects such as novel, drama, or poetry. And even, many doctors have scolded us or gave us many speeches, many lectures about our current state, about the type of students that, get into this department, into this major, without actually having the willingness to learn or to actually participate in developing the English language situation in Iraq. So yeah. And now you can ask me, what's the solution? Of course, the solution for school students, whether from elementary to high school, is basically to try to treat English language like it's some kind of hobby. It's not something that you should fear or that you should treat as this obstacle or as this very difficult boss in a video game that I have to beat every year in order to pass and survive my academic career. No. You're gonna first try to make some strong basis in English language through first learning the simple letters, then learning many words and vocabulary, then learning the basics of English grammar that will make you not suffer through your school career from elementary to high school. Then my simple solution or simple advice for students who got into the Department of English but without having the passion for it or the determination to learn it. You either have two choices. Since you do not want to waste many years of your life in a department that you do not succeed in or that you do not just love or have passion for. First, the quick solution, you just change your department. You might have a talent, you might have skills at another department, you might be a good engineer, you may be a good teacher of mathematics, you may have the ability to learn many difficult and complex equations and be able to solve them faster. So try to find your talent elsewhere, and this is completely fine. From my personal experience, I enlisted in engineering department and electrical engineering department for like 2 weeks, but then saw that this is not the right place for me. So I basically switched my departments and shifted majors because I foresaw my future that I'm not going to be able to be successful in this department because it's not one of my strengths, and second, I do not have any passion for it. In fact, I do tend to hate equations and mathematics and physics, so yeah. This is the first solution. Other solution, if you have a passion, if you have a love for the language, but you do not have basis, then that's pretty simple. You just start to learn. You're gonna tell me, oh, I'm 20 years old, I'm 21, I'm 22. So what? You can learn language at any given age. You can learn it at 20, at 25, at 30, at 40. We should not limit ourselves according to age if we want to learn something. Always achieve to learn something despite your age, because first, this is one of our teachings, whether in our religion or, ethically, it's acceptable to just, try to learn despite your age, whether you are very old or you're still young. Always try to learn. And that's basically all what I want to say in regarding to the situation of English language and English subject in Iraq schools and universities. I hope you all enjoyed the video and see you in next videos.